Diablo 4, bad. We all know this, and that will probably honestly never change. But let's have a more in-depth look at the Diablo 4 itemization changes for Season 4, whenever that is supposed to come out.
Let's talk about itemization changes. Diablo 4 just had its Campfire chat, and it showed the entirety of what they're going to be doing in terms of changing itemization, as well as adding crafting, how to get the materials for crafting, and adding some different gameplay loops. So let's talk about all of it starting now. First thing they mentioned, they're going to make a smaller pool of affixes, basically removing the stats that are the damage on Tuesday memes nobody cares about. Weird stuff like lucky hit on critical, if damage over time type of stuff. They're going to be simplifying these stats. They also mentioned that sacred items are in World Tier 3 only, ancestral items are in World Tier 4 only, so you're no longer getting drops you don't want. They mentioned this many times, but they want to focus on...
Again, changes that should have been there at the start of the game.
Quality over quantity. They're going to be reducing the amount of loot that you actually get, but each of the items should feel impactful was the way they describe this. Part of the way they are doing this is actually removing some of the affixes on items. For instance, legendaries are going 4 to 3, rares are going 4 to 2.
Okay, let's look at this. How does it actually look? This is the old style, right? So you have lucky hit stays the same. Intelligence, it's more condensed and powerful, it seems like. Yeah, it is, because it's both ancestral and 922 gear. So this intelligence is bigger, this intelligence is way bigger. Damage, just basic damage. What a time to be alive, Diablo 4, just basic damage. That's what I like to see. No interesting combinations of what you want to do, but, you know, here's just damage, because you're a mouth breather, obviously. Thank you. Thank you, Todd Ferguson. Thank you for understanding that I'm retarded. God, I hate this game so much. And, well, yeah, everything just seems better than -1. Okay, so not a lot changes. The damage is the same. Everything's the same.
There will be less affixes per items, but that is because of how the crafting works. We would just talk about something you might be thinking looking at this is, okay, well, this makes rare items worthless. What about the trading economy? Well, they're opening up trading now to legendary items as well. So
trading
can now include legendary drops that you get before you craft on them. This is one of the examples they used of a before and after of items. So you can see here, damage to shadow over time affected, lucky hit, chance to execute, and now it's just intelligence.
Whoever cared about the idea that lucky hit, chance to execute is a thing and useful? I just can't.
Intelligence, damage, vulnerable damage. They're trying to simplify these stats. And you can notice it has 3 instead of 4 affixes. That is the base item, and you can actually go up to 5 affixes now because of the way the crafting will work, which we'll talk about in just a second. Legendary items are now always 925 power if dropped from a monster level 95 plus. This way, they're really trying to reduce the amount of garbage items that you see on the ground. Part of the reason is they're still not adding a loot.
Oh, wait. Okay. Previously, I did not understand it. So, you're telling me... Wait, is this not worse than world tiers, honestly, now, as a mechanic? Because this just means that, okay, you get to world tier 4, but on world tier 4, you're still not even spending all of your accumulated resources to open chests or whatever the seasonal mechanic is, right? With this system, you're waiting until monsters are level 95 plus, and then you're actually spending your shit. So, this completely... If previously World Tier 4 invalidated every World Tier that came before it, this change completely invalidates World Tiers already as a general concept. What do you mean? Okay, and that means that you're gonna have max... level 95 opponents. You can probably get this in dungeons when you are level roughly 80-ish, right? Or even before that, like 75 or something like that. You can probably already get your super best stag gear at level 70. Which means you're not even going to be level 100 when you finish grinding all of your gear. So... this is gonna make the game so technically easier to grind the items. This is kinda crazy now that I see it in detail. Okay, well, as always, the more in detail you get with anything that Diablo 4 team of illustrious idiots does, you see the more cracks form. So this essentially means people are legitimately going to be able to play the game, get to like level 85, and quit because they are fully stacked, geared out, and there's nothing left for them to do. That is crazy stupid.
The reason is they're still not adding a loot filter in the game. So if you're wanting a loot filter, that is not going to be happening, and they talked about that. But
And also, a loot filter would completely, fix the problem of too much gear dropping and all of that garbage. Just saying.
part of their logic was, well, we're going to be reducing the amount of garbage that's on the ground. All of the items should hopefully be impactful. They're also consolidating materials, meaning all of these different herbs and everything you have to find around the map. Now it's just one type of herb. They're trying to make the crafting of these materials less annoying. They're also
Good, good. Because, hey, if my potions were rank 5 and I was level 90, it is what it is, okay? I'm not gonna go fucking farm some kind of grave moss or some kind of bullshit like that out in the world. No, I would rather play with bad potions. Stop.
capping the reroll cost on enchanting items, so it no longer goes infinitely to the point of basically you can brick items. And they're, like I said...
Also, by the way, I don't understand the point. Since now we know the full detail of these changes, I don't understand what's even the point of having the real roll option. If you have two affixes per item, and above that there's less affixes, what's the point of rerolling?
They're consolidating the materials, and the Forgotten Souls are now dropping from Whispers and rarely dropping from globally from elites as well. So they're just trying to make it a little bit easier to get all these random materials you need.
Okay.
The gems, they say they're going to make simple.
And essentially that means they completely devalue them as in general. And when you devaluate something like Forgotten Souls, which you needed to do Helltides for, well, you devalue Helltides. Now they're admittedly changing Helltides, but this is the general concept how not to do things in essence, right? You can't make a Helltide that's the place where you farm Forgotten Souls, and then, well, people don't like it, so we're gonna make Forgotten Souls drop from literally anything that you do. So now you don't longer need to do Helltide to do Forgotten Souls, and now you. Because of that, you have completely devalued Forgotten Souls in general, because now you get them from everything, and now they're not even going to be something that you probably think about that you need to acquire or whatever. And above that even, you have even more devalued Helltides because, well, they existed to get Forgotten Souls, and now Forgotten Souls don't drop there. Or it doesn't matter if they drop there, so... Again... Decisions like this, just giving up and allowing everything to drop this material, is the equivalent of just deleting the material in general.
Better and have a much longer crafting tail, though we don't go into more detail on that. We didn't get much of that during the campfire, but gems are supposed to basically be better. One of the best received changes so far was the fact that the Codex of Power now not only has keyword search and filter, but also allows you to imprint your best version of legendaries into them. So
imagine that. Keyword searches and this. How is Diablo 4 a 2023 game? And it feels like the features in it, half of them are from 30 years ago. How?
So if you get something that's a max row, you can put that into the Codex of Power and store that there, and then reuse it as many times as you would like. And also, your affixes of the legendary will increase with world tier. So your world tier 3 will be stronger than world tier 2 affixes, 4 will be stronger than 3. So you'll be upgrading your Codex of Power and storing them there. That is supposed to do two things, one of which is supposed to be less annoying and make it where you don't have to sit there and make a mistake about saving your affix for a better item later, but it also will help with item storage because you're not going to have to store all of these affixes anymore.
Finally.
This seemed to be one of the most well-received changes due to the fact that people have literally been asking for this change since the start of the game.
Yep.
Another thing about this is all legendary affixes are now here. The Codex of Power is no longer limited to just the ones from the dungeons. You can put all affixes into the game, or from the game into the Codex. This is where we get into tempering. Tempering is effectively adding new affixes onto the legendary items. So you start with 3 and you can add 2 new affixes onto the legendary items. You learn these recipes, and this is how you add it. These recipes here are...
Oh, let's see what this is. Affixes, boots, amulet, speed, movement. Movement speed for 4 seconds after killing elite. Garbage. Mobility cooldown reduction. Garbage. What is this? Weapons. Chance for bone splinter projectile to cast twice. Necros only. Okay. Chance for bone spear projectile. Bone spear, bone splinter. Cast twice. Okay, that's good. Because I am gonna, for season 4, I'm gonna, by the way, be finally playing a bone necromancer. I have played Summoner, I have played Blight, I have played Blood Tide, Shadow Tide, I have played Bone Storm, I have played even a Summoner-esque type of thing. I have played Blood, basic Blood, you know. I have yet to play a bone necro, and I'm kind of excited for it. Chance for bone spear projectiles to cast twice. Bone spirit explosion size. Bone storm duration. Yeah, this one's useless. So, yeah, yay. It's so shit. This is so shit. Okay, whatever.
Are these manuals that you learn, and once you learn them, you can use these in the tempering menu, which I will show you in just a moment. And each of these different manuals will have a number of affixes that could be applied, so there is some RNG associated with crafting the affixes onto items. This is what the menu actually looks like. This is the item beforehand. This is afterhand. You're going to notice there's tempered affixes too.
Okay, let's look at this. Resistance, max life, damage, critical, charge for call ancient spirits, okay. So you can also see, let's see how this looks. Max damage, that was already there. Oh, this is the crafted one. Charge cooldown reduced, barbarian, well, berserking. Okay, so this is just... So, these are schmuck upgrades, essentially, what I would like to call them. They're shit. They're bad. They're boring. This is a failure. This is a failure. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a failure. Okay. So, they couldn't figure out a way to, plane. Well, actually, it's a helicopter. In any case, they could not figure out a way to... Really loud. Anyway, they could not find an interesting way to add like stuff that people care about. The closest that they got to it was clearly this: chance for bone splinters to cast twice. Yeah, that's the best they could come up with. So obviously the thing they did was less cooldown and not damage. That's essentially what's happening here. This is severely disappointing, and yeah.
This is what the menu actually looks like. This is the item beforehand. This is afterhand. You're going to notice there's tempered affixes too.
Not
that
happy.
is because you can add 2 different affixes onto them. You can temper it up to 5 total times, meaning you can add 2 and then replace it 3 times, etc. if you don't get the one you want. This is almost like forging potential from last epoch. For instance, you get 5 instances of activating the tempering, and you can have 2 different tempered affixes onto items. So you can see here you go from 3 to 5 of these affixes. When you go to temper the item, you're going to have this menu show up here, which will actually allow you...
I mean, yeah, it seems kind of a lot boring. Utility, mobility, defenses. Seems super fucking basic.
to select either offensive weapons, defense.
So it's better that we that what we have currently, but it's still overall shit.
Utility, etc., based upon the item. For instance, this is a weapon, so he can do weapons and offensive style affixes. And you can see here when he clicks on the offensive category, these are the different manuals we were talking.
Up. Let's see. Shade dash. Shade shadow Stun grenade damage. Yep, it's all just okay, yeah, it's all just basic fucking damage numbers. Yeah. This is disappointing. Yeah, this is trash.
Clicks on the offensive category. These are the different manual.
Yeah, this is damage to poison. Yeah. Okay.
As we were talking about earlier, that allows you.
Nope, wait, I didn't see that. Marksman damage, marksman critical chance, marksman crit strike damage, rain of arrows damage. I mean, it's gonna be better than previously, but it's shit. This is disappointing. Okay. It is what it is.
Allows you to see what the different recipes from using this could actually end up being. So you could select one of them, then temper the item, and that tempering item will slam on one of these.
Oh, look at that. There's a shitty fucking animation that everyone's gonna beg for them to remove because Blizzard never learns. They did this in Season 1 with Malignant Tunnels, and the moment I saw this, you know, you click on the things, and then there's like this animation, and it's epic and whatnot, and it takes like 20 seconds, and you have aged 50 years mentally just because it's so bad. And everyone wanted it to be removed and done almost instantly. Well, at least they did it. This is the same. Again, the Blizzard devs literally never learn, do they?
These affixes from the manual you actually chose. Hopefully you get the one you want, and you can see there you now have a plus of the damage. Something else that can drop are greater affixes. Effectively, you can get variants of ancestral items that drop that can.
Wow! Wait, yeah, this is literally Diablo 3, isn't it? Look at this. Intelligence, critical damage, like... It's Diablo 3. It's fucking Diablo 3. It's over. It's over. It's over.
Have greater affixes, aka the affixes are mega juice, which will have a 1.5 multiplier of the maximum row. So if the maximum was 100,
yeah, so it's just more damage. Yay.
You can get an affix that will drop with a 150 max out row. That is what a greater affix is now going to be. These only appear on ancestral items, but do in fact appear on unique items. So uniques can have mega juiced out affixes of really good stats. This is an example that they used here. The one on the left is a basic.
Okay, so before after, let's look damage per second, damage to close enemies that stays, dex, life per hit, critical strike damage, dexterity attacks. It's Diablo 3. It's literally Diablo 3. I called it. I told you they're gonna make Diablo 4 into Diablo 3. This is as sad and as basic. And so you're telling me they need all this time. They need to delay Season 4 so they can just copy and paste Diablo 3 into Diablo 4.
Row, the one on the right, you can see it has these little red diamonds here, and that shows that it rode 2 greater affixes. You can row multiple greater affixes on an item. This is very similar to like exalted items, for instance, if you are familiar with Last Epoch. There is going to be a Masterworking system that allows you to upgrade an item 12 times. When you upgrade an item, it will upgrade all of the stats slightly, but then every 4 ranks, a single affix will be massively upgraded. A total of 12 ranks can be upgraded, meaning you could get lucky and slam that same affix.
Bigger numbers, more fun.
3 times. So the obvious combo is you get a greater affix.
Congratulations, boys. We're literally already back to Diablo 3, where they will need to do a damage number squish, and, you know, it's going to be, instead of dealing... 20k damage and being happy about it, you're gonna have a 1.2 billion damage. It's shit.
Of like a damage, and then you masterwork it to 4, it rose damage again, to 8 rose damage again, and then 12 and it damage again, and oh my god, you got lucky, it triple rode on the greater affix, meaning you can really juice some of these stats. This is an example they use. This is at rank 2, rank 3, and then rank 4, and you can see critical strike goes up. Here, you can see the vulnerable damage.
Golem active cooldown reduced by X. What a time to be alive.
Damage goes up, and then you can see the life goes up as well. And they said these other stats should be increasing too. This is just a display bug glitch, which is unfortunate. The reason it is blue here is you can see that this one has been slammed with the rank 4. So it got lucky, and that was the one that ended up getting the big single greater affix bonus. Well, not greater affix, master rework bonus. So this went blue because it got the single masterwork rank 4. So at 4, 8, and 12 is when you get that, and it got a blue one if it hit.
Just watch how long is it gonna take for them to succumb to people being pissed that they can't just put all the masterwork reforge affixes into the thing that they want, and then they just add an item that allows you to put the right thing into the right affix that you want to upgrade. Just watch that happen.
It twice, it would actually become yellow. They actually show an example of this because you can see here blue is a single, yellow is a double slam. So this is a Masterwork 12. There was 3 total of those major slams. It hit this one twice, which is why it's yellow. That one once, which is why it's blue. And you can see that it increased these stats as well. The vulnerable damage went from 38 to 55%, even though it didn't get slammed with those big single individual ones. It increases all the stats. And obviously you can see they had tempered this one as well. So the idea is you're going to want to temper, get the stats you want, then do the master rework on it as well. And hopefully you're doing this on an item that the original base had greater affixes also. Speaking of items, they mentioned that there's going to be a new Uber unique they showed here on my left, but then they also mentioned...
Oh, look at that. Tyrael's might yet keep farming Blizzard. All stats, maximum resistance to elements, damage reduction. While it fully out your skills, unleash a divine barrage, dealing damage. Okay.
There's double the total amount of uniques actually coming to the game, so there's a significant increase in terms of overall uniques. At this point, they went into class update balance changes. I'm not going to go through all of these. We're primarily going to focus on the itemization changes and the in-game update changes, but basically...
Necromancer minions inherit 100% of the player's stats. Oh, wow.
Minions are getting quite a bit of love. There's some nice changes to Sorceress. You can pick through the live stream if you want to see more. We're going to focus...
Book of the Dead update. That seems also good.
On itemization and in-game.
Like, most Necromancer builds never use pets.
One thing I should mention, though, is the way flat damage works is actually changing. It scales based upon your...
Lightning Storm. Critical strike spawns 3 dancing balls to seek out enemies. Is this the source? Oh, no, this is Druid one. Oh, wow, I didn't even know this. Huh. I never played Druid that much at the end. Okay, Lucky Hit Chance. Rank of Landslide. Lightning Strike. Critical damage. Critical strike chance against injured enemies. Willpower, vulnerable damage.
Your weapon damage, so as your weapon becomes stronger, so does the flat damage, and they're buffing flat damage in general. They make it feel more rewarding for these types of legendary properties. They are also changing the function of a lot of items to make them more usable for people.
Azure Vrat. I didn't even know this thing exists. Wow. Okay, let's see. The B4 attack speed. It's a one-hand slashing weapon. So this is... What is this? Barbarian thing? I don't even know. Attack, non-physical, core skill. No, is this a sorceress thing? Your core skills have up to a chance to freeze enemy, blood, cold damage to them. Your skills have a chance to freeze. No, that's the same crowd control. Damage to crowd control. It's the same core damage. It's almost the same, isn't it? What am I missing? What am I missing here? The same. What am I missing here? It's just there's they just boosted the minimum numbers here. That's it.
In general, for instance, this used to be a core skill. Now this is just your skills in general. So they're trying to make it less limiting for a lot of items.
Oh, okay.
Also, a shout out here. They are removing the Elixir of Death and the Cheat Death enchantment. So now hardcore is actually hardcore. Helltide is getting an update. There's higher density. They're putting the blood type mechanics of...
I mean, that's gonna be instantaneously a complete disaster. Let's be complete. DM, what the hell did you do? Why are you at that side?
Threat-based minion spawn being added into this as well. And they're overall just trying to buff Helltide. This is also a good time to mention that there is going to be an increase in experience across the board, a fairly significant one in World Tier 2, 3, and 4. A new boss is coming to the game, and Dario has been much requested to come back. It is
Yeah, but with tits. Not with whatever the hell currently is happening there.
coming back. Use the summoning parts from the Beast device in Lord Zur, and now has the same drop table as Dario, so it is another way in which you can attempt to get drops that you won from Uber Durio, but this time you can use the other materials for it as well. There's a system coming to the game called the Pit. The Pit is where you're going to get the materials for the Masterworking, so you're going to want to do it. It starts at level 100, and the Pit
Oh, look at that! It's it's already the greater rift thing from Diablo. I'm so happy.
is effectively almost like greater rifts. This is sort of like AOZ. You can open these rifts, go in there. It continues to scale and become more and more difficult. And it's going to be RNG. What's on the inside? You kill the boss at the end. You get some of the materials you're going to need. This here.
Oh, it literally is. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Nice. Nice. This is shit.
Was a an early access version here that they were actually showing live of this. So you're going to go into this basically a greater rift or AOZ type of rift, and it's supposed to be a more accessible one. That starts at level 100. You farm through it. Very similar to what we've seen before with AOZ, and it's very similar to Greater Rift style, basically, is what it boils down to. But this is where you're going to be getting the materials that you need. The other thing about this is going to drop the stones, and the stones are going to be used for a new Uber version of bosses. So now there's actually a level 200 variant of bosses that will drop you more rewards that are like Durio, Lord Zir, all of the lather bosses is what they call them. All of those style bosses that you have to summon actually have like a mega variant of these bosses now that will give you better rewards as well in terms of quantity. So that is something to keep in mind. If you want to have an additional challenge, there will be a higher tier one. And my understanding of these bosses is they also drop a resplendent spark, which you need for Uber crafting as well. So if you kill each one of these, you can eventually get yourself, and you can straight up craft an Uber unique. So that is a pretty cool way of doing that too. At the end of it here, he showed the different materials you're going to need to acquire in order to do Masterworking, which you get from the Pit. Then they wrapped up with a Q&A, and some people noticed that the camera seemed more zoomed out, which is true. Coming with Season 4, there is going to be a more zoomed out camera. So that has been a much requested thing as well. In fact, the codex of
They probably want a more zoomed out camera because they don't want this face ever again. It's like, you know that one where they're just like super fucking sad about their lives? Yeah, they don't want screenshots like that anymore because I use that as my thumbnail time to time because man, it's really good. Both of them are like, yeah, it's great. It's absolutely just lovely. Anyway, thank you, DM. You filled me in on the small details of this, and I am now disappointed. Yeah, I am now completely disappointed. It is what it is. Anyway, that was Closer Since Then. Diablo 4, Diablo 3, welcome. Welcome. It is what it is. Anyway, have a nice day. Bye-bye.